Shamima Begum's appeal hearing against the stripping of her British citizenship continues today, I should say. Yesterday, the court heard that Begum's school and the police both, quote, missed opportunities before the then schoolgirl travelled to Syria and aligned with the Islamic State. GBNews' reporter Ellie Costello has been at the Asylum and Immigration Tribunal in central London. Ellie, what's developed today?
Well, hi, Patrick. Two main things from Shamima Begum's lawyers today. The first was the issue of statelessness. Now, they argue that removing Shamima Begum's UK citizenship was unlawful because Sajid Javid, who was the Home Secretary at the time, they say he didn't look into the fact that Shamima Begum could be rendered stateless. Now, to understand the context of that argument, we just have to take ourselves back to 2019. And when Sajid Javid revoked Shamima Begum's British citizenship, he did so because he said in legal terms Shamima Begum had Bangladeshi citizenship because her parents were born there. But after a few days after that announcement by Sajid Javid back in 2019, Bangladesh said they wouldn't allow Shamima Begum to enter the country and that she would not hold Bangladeshi citizenship. So Shamima Begum's lawyers arguing today that those questions should have been asked by Sajid Javid at the time. It should have been asked whether Bangladeshi citizenship would offer Shamima Begum protection. They argue that those questions were not asked and therefore removing her British citizenship was not legal. Now, the second argument that they made this afternoon was that Sajid Javid, as Home Secretary at the time, had already made up his mind as to what he was going to do with Shamima Begum. They mentioned an article in the Times by him on the 15th of February in which he said he was going to use all of his powers to prevent Shamima Begum returning to the UK. And they also mentioned an article on the 17th of February on the Home Office media page which said the same sort of thing. Now, they argued that that decision had already been made before he had seen any ministerial submissions or before he had seen any accompanying evidence. They said that those should have been used to form the basis of his decision, but they argued that his decision had already been made. They also mentioned throughout the course of this afternoon that there was a risk that Shamima Begum could spend the rest of her life walking through Iraq and Syria without any country to call home. They said that would be of devastating consequence. And they also raised the issue of whether this was too radical, whether it was a radical step to remove her British citizenship, considering she had little connection to the country of Bangladesh. Well, earlier this week, lawyers for the Home Office argued that their decision to remove Miss Begum's citizenship was correct. They said that her fleeing ISIS territory was for safety and not because of any disengagement from the group. They said that she hasn't expressed any remorse for their actions or any regret for joining a terrorist organisation. And they also brought up the fact that she was a very intelligent schoolgirl. She was on track for A's and A stars, that she was very articulate and that to some extent she knew what she was doing. Now, we're going to hear from the Home Office in regard to those submissions made by Shamima Begum's lawyers today. We're going to hear that through the rest of this week, and this hearing should come to an end on Friday. We'll have a judgment in writing at a later date.